Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
Sure that Claare and Gael, a shame I had to say or Saltiger. My name is Robert Cottingars, well, Robert Carslach.
Have I heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
And in Claare and Gael, I'll be presenting part of it in the English language as Nim Pertia Hebel Sachilg, and I'll be presenting part of it in the Manx Gaelic, Chinyanamera, the mother tongue of Ellan Banning, the Isle of Man. As Barachton dut Rish, there's more poetry in Claare and Gael this time, with the work of a writer who was born in Ramsey in 1904, Kathleen Killip, who's left us a large body of work, some of which still remains to be collected and anthologised. Ren ri pusa nien J. Butch. Ged veli Ellen, gerawe cor baranton G, not jinnach I jield in a she mek as on nien vega hanna, maar so renne follach ad ons keel. Ach, ten ven rein dolach chochlain a gillian de vein in Ollie. St. Neot was a Saxon monk and hermit who found isolation in Cornwall. This is a traditional Cornish tale of St. Neot, who penned the crows in the Crow Pound, in a new song by Cornish singer, and well, can't say that, but she can play lots of instruments, Martha Woods. Towers Geestjach Rish Radio Vanning, Station the Nation, Viscol Scalia Mach by Doolish, Ellen Vanning.
Over the fields not far from home lives a flock of mournful crows, whether by the days of old they have a story to be told. Hark, can you hear them singing now? 100 ghostly voices drifting through the clouds.
And guess the soil it's fit and sense the Narathan and Skelly lays is what caught the Adiv, a burger fris and Gorlan Fran Otterly service.
They'd flock to the fields every day of the week. On the farmers' crops they hoped to feast, but the farmers drove them all away, for the village would starve if the crows did stay. But when church bells rang on a Sunday morn, the crows they took their share of barley, wheat and corn. Chance hide, for a season's changed and the years pass by. The pews lay empty down below, for the farmers stayed home to drive away the crows. So he banished the crows to a patch of ground, where they formed a congregation upon the old Crow Pound. When saints can't settle on a compromise, we'll spread our wings and take to the skies. As we grow more weathered, we grow more wise. From the Crow Pound we shall rise. Be born along the starved or cried, and with hearts and with voices the church was alight. The crows grew thinner by the week, for they had not a crumb nor a crust to eat. but they learned to sing and to speak like men. And they sang their songs in hope that they might feast again. When saints can't settle on a compromise, we'll spread our wings and take to the skies. As we grow more weathered, we grow more wise. From the crow-bound we shall rise. As they sing their hymns inside the church, like a band of angels crash to earth, we'll sing a chorus of our own till they spare a thought for the hungry crows. Till they spare a thought, don't you spare a thought for the poor hungry crows.
Crowpound, the traditional Cornish tale of St Neot, expounded in song and music, of course, by multi-instrumentalist Martha Woods. There, managed it that time. Kathleen Farragher, 1904 to 1974, left Ramsey aged about 24 to work in London. Ill health brought about her early retirement, and she returned 25 years later in October 1949, living briefly in Ramsey before moving to Glenmona. Her first poem was printed in the Ramsey Courier about the time she returned, in fact, on the 14th of October 1949. It was one she'd already sent from London, in fact, to the Ramsey Courier. As well as poems in Manx dialect, as well as standard English, she also wrote Manx dialect duologues. Between 1955 and 1962, the Ramsey Courier published 4 collections of her poems that had appeared in the newspaper: Green Hills by the Sea, The Purple Misted Isle, Where Curlews Call, and These Fairy Shores, and in 1964 published Care Cushion, 4 humorous duologues in Manx dialect. Then in 1967, the Norris Modern Press Limited published 2 books, English and Manx dialect poems by Kathleen Farragher and By the Red Fuchsia Tree, short stories and poems from the Isle of Man. We'll hear poems of Kathleen Farragher read by her friend Constance Radcliffe, whose voice will in fact be familiar to you. Ar au fisseg ben rein der au nien rhys a chastial ons cael, as tret yn rhi chit le silie na pegin ege ha ne ach yn nien vis marn. Tiginch den rhi de vel na gillian ar ei cochleich de vein yn oli. Ach, yn eli shielten a chor bi, der au sio butcherach jint ege ben hiesje ege. Te gred a liesach a nien chit gus a chastial ege. Ach, te gwy son kid de hannacht an un y elias a chael. Ach, yn ni sien, ti rai che by sien, der ti chitgus bweg, as on sien ta she oli getlach stiach on. Ach dat gedden reir is na fedje genoch, as cor wou na craggan an olaach, as ti cor en oru mor na brerigenek. Ta dulju jint maag de bei kujach rish, ach eist an a gillian cor rauden nien, de veli ons gau, jeru stern, ta jin the wimmer jane weg, ni marawi, as na vod udsen fengeli no na velach keru oorach dach lei, tret a chit de vein an gillian rish. Now this is a song about Friday afternoon, Tranthrona Inya, sung by sisters Eitan and Moira Nichoran with brother Cahill.
Had for the birds have is all a
Trandona Anya, a Friday afternoon, in October in fact, and it's a song about the shock after a drowning, I'm afraid. But that was Eton and Moira Nicuran with brother Cathal O'Curran on bouzouki. Cathal will be here again for an Chroniac this year. Tan nín giri brisha, a pishag ter rei courage ar a wachtad grey de bech shen fi dolly. Vech fémech tannacht an tástach, gin fogel na gera, ris sé bliana glen. As a tre shen de yinu sé lienten weg as blechen lussen eel wel. Ten yin guller soel stjach ons menig heel, die chumsige blechen lussen eel wel, as esch die drappal soes bilje. As onshent in a saai, gin fogel na aidnier wie de gera, gouds die chwelen na lienten wegge. Ach de rine tjere shen shelgs en ud, as de kuste jel gern fedden I Sevilla, as de korljau I gusserie. Gerne wel I grey eer onnogel, tan rie kleint chwischi de wel I pusse. Ach, va moir olkesach egerie, as vi jintje moesach jorische fusse, as renny lord de hulk, naien ven rein egg. Koi ectach vis creu vait en voigen jet doortish, as gineblet de lord eer onogel, chanelli fuge rie. Now here's Constance Radcliffe to introduce and begin a poem by Kathleen Farragher.
I'm fortunate to have had a close association with Miss Kathleen Farragher. After she retired from her business in London in the 1950s and 60s, she often gave performances of her own works, sometimes enlisting the help of friends, of whom I was one, in presenting amusing duologues. Miss Farragher was born and brought up in Ramsey. And this is her little poem set in Ramsey, Well, Well. Have you seen Ginny Ann, Mrs. Corkle? Oh, that one. She's never around, out gathering the news as I'll bet you, like a red Injun with his ear to the ground. Aye, there's nothing much passes herself there, for all she's never been off the sod. She knows all that goes on, I can tell you. Births, deaths, or today's price of cod. How Johnny and herself come to get married is more than a wise man could tell. The provilla can't get a word edgeways. She's fair talked the boy into a spell.
A Breton band whose name means abundant, plentiful, that's Elais, with a casabar, where couples advance with linked little fingers, and without letting go there's a flourish as the lady turns in and back before dancing forward again.
Manx Radio.
Stasiwn yn asiwn dy radio fanning as yn sio tawas geisiach rys Claare na Gael. This as sé Robert Cutting Carswell, Miss Robert a Carslach mata.
Ever heard tell of old Bobby Bob?
As Kathleen Farragher's poem Well Well is now brought to its conclusion by Constance Radcliffe.
I hear tongue goes from morning till night time. It's a wonder it's not water the roots. Wear yourself out, you say, cooking and cleaning. All that one wears out is her boots. I haven't got patience, Mrs. Corkle, nor the time, neither, to be standing around gossiping to this one and that one, for there's too much at home to be done. Here she is coming now, Mrs. Corkle, all dressed up. How are you doing, Jenny Ann? Did you get a little sight at the map, Gael? Was there anything new in the town? Is the shops all stocked up for the summer? Has any of the visitors come? Whose fine yacht was that going in the harbour? Laws, help us! Are you struck deaf and dumb? Wasn't there nobody married nor buried? Well, things is quite for all. To think I've wasted me morning here waiting, and you've no newses, no nothing at all.
Kathleen Farragher's Well Well. Trevor Blaine engel Shah, as rugger ven rein en chid feitje ect en tail, ren na chan ven immerker soule, as renny sollache biele ven rein lish fool, gouds wie na laai is ish na kadla. Esh, haigus rias doorte der ouwe ven chesje ek, ege na ieder je veel den joil. Har ouwe ri krel lid, as hug is seren er ou pecher bide in a waddy erbiji. As ren de ven rein frail rish chwele de cune na lienten, as gin kerel son vegelia. A nachiert dat vegilje brau ruggit, ren na drachlias voeren ongjalg, a gerauwer ri krel na vogelen ecke chor erbi, as doorte. Tí rá bedda as rá bhaid vegje liad shen, as bed raui ballu, odders I saige gemach in inriges ek, eist de begen onid ek gechleers en lei. Tres on a tras geert ren en chan ven gaiger soel janu no ruggit, as renny cassager ven rein, na rau able de grey vogel den jeli heen, ha rau njaarte egen ree. Now, this is the Scottish band Farragher, who won last week's Pan-Celtic competition for a group performance of traditional music, and also this, the best new song in traditional style, with the song Fiannish Rich. Fiannish Rich, a song written and performed by the young Scottish band Farraga. Chydod dy ri ach lifrei sws y fen rein son brewnys, as for deir a currajori dy gedden bes liorish aisle. An leavened deir dy fe cwlinit, she las Jerry and che of lane Jane the Blinton on daw chrawi yder lort na gera, the heren the she bredig en ekwein droch vishag. Van a she lienten urlu, olju limme je fair jou va fame windiel hostel. A strevi gull li jail mak as a charnein foy, dimmerki the she lienten a rayak. As tre hai sus a charnein as van aisle chive fodit, dal tajemach renny illach mach no, de rauw she allie as utsen chit as getlach through den air, as honneki de rauw en livrea sek gera, as ren a kriek boele de gurjoil. Henk na allie fagus g, as dris na skien ook, as ren het krome me geerte mooi. De voddig hi kjaune lienten harris toe. And this is the opening of another poem by Kathleen Farraga, again with an introduction by Constance Radcliffe.
In the days before combine harvesters, when the corn had been cut, it was stored in the hacket until the travelling steam mill came round for the thrashing. And the mill days were big days on the farm because neighbours and friends would come round to help each other in turn, and this was done out of good community spirit. But when your friends and relations came, it was a tradition that they should be given a good meal or a series of good meals in appreciation of a long, hard day's work. Of course, the exact date of having the mill on the farm would depend on the proprietor of the mill, how he fitted everybody in. And this is Miss Farraga's On the Farm. Bless me soul, what an auction we had there on the day we expected the mill. But the kitchen all steamed from the puddings and the pies cooling out on the sill, and me up to me eyes in more bacon. Why, slim cakes and bonnets, that's what. And Bella at the sink, near snowed under with pridders and termites and that.
Meredith Evans was a singer, folklorist, collector and academic, and here he sings a song about counting goats, though probably not the one that most people are familiar with.
Beth yw'r achos garw lewyn man ymlaen, par gafran bod hi'n pori cylla chelyn ar y cloddiau clerwng clarwng dyna'r achos lewyn garw man ymlaen, barf gafrwen, byrwen, fel am gynfonwen, ystlys a chydyn a chynfonwen. Beth yw rasog ar o flewyn man ymlaen, barf gafr am bot i'n pori gylla chelyn ar y cloddiau clirwng clarwm dyna rasog flewyn garw man ymlaen, barf gafr ddi, byr ddi, fel yn gyffon ddi, ystlys chytyn a'ch yn ffon ddi. Beth yw rasog ar o flewyn man ymlaen, barf gafr am bot i'n pori gylla chelyn ar y cloddiau clirwng clarwm dyna rasog flewyn garw man ymlaen, barf gafr goch, byr goch, fel yn gyffon goch, ystlys chytyn a'ch yn ffon goch.
Cyfrair Gaefr, Meredydd Evans, Mered as he was widely known, Dr. Meredydd Evans in fact, and the song Cyfrair Gaefr, Counting the Goats. Well, Constance Radcliffe continues that story now.
Then himself puts his head round the doorway and, "My goch, isn't you one's done yet?" he's shouting at Cretchy. "Get moving, for the mill's on the top road this bit. Can nobody round here do nothing? They'll be here for you know where you're at. Them cakes would have been done, Annie Kelly, if you hadn't stopped for your tea and your chat. Here, Jenny, get the stuff from the dairy, and Bella, get them spuds on the hop. Loss, I'm cussed with a house full of women with 2 speeds at them, dead slow and stop." Guy, hey, was I mad? I near hit him with a lump of the dough in me fist. Wasting time indeed, and me going like the devil all day with this cowl on me chest. Then off through the door he went stamping, and stood the cat out on his way, and Bella was bawling and crying with big toot. Oh, well, what a day. Then out of the dairy comes Ginny with a basin of cream in her hands, and she trips on the grape in the yard there. Aye, flat on her face the girl lands.
Wel, tref yn y lieint yn veg a couch herish na she oli, ren na cragan yn ola tusiwn faw, as van een breirige nek yn shadow rumbi ons na curbochin, sledden sautja. A cart mar va onlien of fame winiel hostel, na chedin va skiën alle eg a vaxe ons in a rai hostel. Rennad claimer as pega chelia. As high ben rein gusserie, va Gina saw as ledden yindese, as gawi toiach de lotrish as durti. Maar wanneer hesje smoemien, nish liosliam lort as instut de velmione, as der au ridden courage de false gus milier, as dintje day, kelgeris niljas vera een oiler soel na tripechen, as geeltje had. As vi courage ons kurtjes risherie, aseno lesh bogamoe, as van draag jas boer, kont rische stab, a garnein foy, as vi losh gus lie. As ren de rie as a wen rein tannachten bjorisch immer die blinten, lesh na she breirigenok, und she as taartjes. Peter O'Tavy, one of the Manx wedding dances.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Siodad stasiwn yn asiwn radio banning, as sé Claare na Gael fysgol sgelia ma carnish merenpien, Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Wel tas yn chorcion sgil sien ben mysich na sé oli. Ach na ba tachert na oli chit de hawele hiwroc ve chi ve courage gebes on sail, as een drochjen toch surren spes en ach sien on synergy. Giel sin versioen jen onskiel sien per de vreier de henne, onskiel se chaglem shaw visen mysich, en dev re jeg. Bien naskiel meier endut, de jaru ernodene, kaljen a Sabine Lowry. Ons de Shan lijn, ver rie is ben rein on, ver greirische gelie, dachlei, jen beok, de rauwig peetjijn. Ach, de jaiger rauw peetje biok. Ach, hagere kuurt de rauw treven ben rein goelige ons ouwen, de denk frog mag as een usje, es wij saikosel tollu, es durterish, be de jeri na chuline. Rosh me besplain en ul sha, nieuw rugga nien den tail. As mar hug a frog fashionus mar sen hagere, as hug a wen rein, nien goelen, nach dod de rie kummelsjache haatjes. And so we turn once again to Constance Radcliffe reading from the poetry of Kathleen Killip.
My, she carried on something awful. What fool left that grape here, she said. And her brat was all covered in cow muck, and one eye was all swollen her head. Then the dog lapped the cream from the basin where she'd fell it. Good job it was tin. And it stuck to his face in long streels, Gael, like white whiskers growing out of his chin. And he looked up with big eyes that mournful. Aye, the dead spit to the old boy himself when he's preaching to the pigs there for practice. Loss, I laughed, for I couldn't help myself. Well, that cheered us up quite considerable, so we soon got the things put in place, and them men with the mill ate with relish. My, you'd wonder where they find all the space. Aye, and the outlaw was smiling and nodding and help yourselves to some more, boys, tuck in, for there's no batter puddings and pies going in Annie Kelly's. And he gave a little grin as he said, who knows, before the next harvest maybe this here'll be a permanent life. She's coxy, of course, like all women, but I'm thinking she'll make a good wife.
Constance Radcliffe again. Now, a man called Frank Yonko stood on the cliffs of West Penwith in Cornwall, and below him he saw the rocks, which were stained red by the Giva and Leavened tin mines, and he saw the white waves of the Atlantic, and he wrote a song about it, Red Rocks and White Water, and it's sung here by Jethro.
Did you visit Mevagizzy? Did you see the boats leave Par? Did you ever stand on Grimm Head? Did you nearly touch a star? Did you cross the Bodmin moors, where the grouse and tern fly free? Did you see this land where red rocks and white waters greet the sea? Just to see the lights of Newquay, Falmouth's busy quay, I wandered across the Tamar. Now I'm home at last and free from the demon called ambition and the phantom called success, and a way of life that made a fool of me. I'm proud that I was born here, it's always home for me. I love this land where red rocks and white waters greet the sea. Did you see Luxillian Valley on a warm September day? See the golden sands of Sennin when the tide had rolled away. The old tin mines on Camborne Hill, Truro shining spires, Tintagel and St. Morgan, seen the chalk hills and Pentire. I'm proud that I was born here, it's always home for me. I love this land where red rocks and white waters greet the sea. I love this land where red rocks and white waters greet the sea. Greet the sea.
And that's Geoffrey MacIntyre Rowe from St Buryan in Cornwall, who became a legend of Cornish comedy under the stage name Jethro, although he started out as a singer. And there he sang the song of the red rocks and white water of West Penwith. Well, here now is the conclusion of Kathleen Farragher's poem On the Farm, read by Constance Radcliffe.
Well, the wind was fair took from me sails, Gael, at the imperence and pride of the man. The mill boys were yelling and laughing, and me ready till a lobster in a pan. Then I up and gives the owl divil glister. What? Marry you? I shouts out from the hall. Nor if you were the only man left on this island, I wouldn't. But it was nice to be asked, Gael, for all.
And that was Constance Radcliffe and the end of that poem by Kathleen Farragher, On the Farm. The poem first appeared in the Ramsey Courier on the 1st of November 1957, and it subsequently appeared in the 1959 collection of her poems, Where Curlews Call. Ren a ri corsair de chommel gien moer. Gene inrigen vei de dog equire a bunjege, a geurgen as slai bei eingesachrisch, ach nies na bren krine, de beged kindgel des vooruild en feitjauk. Wat 3 jegjouser reachtege, ach no na rauwe chorach dechle a jegger en son vuisende wat femer vergeel moei verjou. Nu jij shen van gien na chommel les eudelia as les sledden stomid. Gouds vi tarn gesjerre, hengt na mren krine de weinen sai roos julju de chorn den feitje de guten jindesach ook. Ren verjou stolori maias, vereliajou elid. Traser jou birches, as mersen, creer bi visons en tail de jeri. Ach treva jou lord, stiak les je traser jeg, orine rau quira courage, as whish vi genacht en drau facket er we gintje, drau I corri aglach, as gian de gedden coolina. The Pan-Celtic Festival was in Carlow again last week, and a singer from Carlow itself, Claare Hutchinson, with the lyrics by Carlow historian Dave Barron, was set to music by Clara's husband, musician Fiach Moriarty, and they won the Pan-Celtic International Song Competition with this song, Dulra Scrista.
Misha Eru, Misha Danu, Misha Ungui, Misha Ungreen, Misha Go Naheri. Fillen an follow Kaksaura, Tanya dona tetel erdus, Akleteni tashi denasnaf, She aspa kalogan. agus can na clystú an corlam go coag ag ceanor na quae slapernach an brathan san an grog treg in yaran fair fi coag gus corlam camonta bavra an blake their glues Akanish tan thirvak a barlo Skristas Milton news Agus can a clash to an corlo Go cook a kialor the quay Slappernock an brathan sundown Grog trennock in Yaran fair Bulan an brathan na waya Kan awan na gukasha Akis brumskar is paspat is kamras Abakan an baran Akis kan a clash to an corno Gakkoak ek yalor na quay Slappernock an brathan sundown Grog trennock in Yaran fair Wallish an trennock an morning Because an yagan fair Nish barter an silas so working Is an trennock bucked Gael there's the rain Agus can a clash to an corno The cook ag yalor na quae Slappernock an brathan sundown Grog trennock in Yaran fair Slappernock an brathan sundown Grog trennock in Yaran fair
Dulra Skrista, Nature Destroyed, this year's winning Pan-Celtic International Song Competition entry by Claare Hutchinson and her husband Fiach Moriarty. Gin bannacht Orison for Cion Féinish, as gin Aramer be, Jilly Mac and Trasven Chrina Jeg Shaw, Lesherd Choré, so Wego Vlain Jeg Jane Eshek, Nien Ven Frins Brodde Heen Lesh Fess, as Neesh Tujum Shees, as Beish Marrow. As gin gref fogler be Elia, Hyundai, as Degi Yahalia. In the final 2 years of her life, Kathleen Farragher wrote about 100 short stories under the pseudonym Kiri Ann, and they appeared in the Ramsey Courier, but there hasn't been an anthology of them published since, even online, which might perhaps be more easily achievable than a physical publication these days. So still more to be done with the works of Kathleen Farragher. As a sente orum corcion Claare na Gael Shaw. Chris Pearson will be your host for 2 hours of the best in chill-out music for your Sunday evening between 7 and 9. And then at 9, Judith Lay presents Sundown. Next Saturday afternoon, the 18th of April at 2:30, Stephen Miller, RBV, will be giving a presentation under the title I Often Think of You, but Very Few Beside You. Edward Farragher and Carl Roeder, folklorists and friends. Edward Farragher of Cregnish, Nedibeg Homrai, was a poet and writer in his native Manx, and Carl Roeder was a German businessman based in Manchester who had a love of Manx folklore. So that's a donation of £3 will be welcome to help with overheads, and that's at 2:30 next Saturday afternoon, the 18th of April, with Stephen Miller, RBV. Claare na Gael closes with music by a band of Breton musicians based in Paris, so they call themselves Estren, which means a stranger, a foreigner, an outsider. The track is called Phoenix. As Shanae a Chair Shaw, So until the next time, this is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night, Eve. I'm a Dutch, as Dutch, my Yeri and share.